Hello, everyone. It is Misha Green, DC editor. I am so excited to be here with the wonderful, multifaceted artist and artist activist, more importantly, the great TC Carson, who I think it's fair to say has a legendary career. And some people say when you say legendary, you're just trying to you're trying to say this person has been in the game forever, but which legendary career. And so we're going to talk about his trajectory in this crazy world of entertainment. Some of the new stuff he has cooking up. He has a great song that I've been bopping to my head to since I got to hear it. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff. But you guys know the routine. Before we even get into the conversation, the girl has to share the live. So I'm going to do that really, really quickly. And then we will be good to go. Let me see. Let's get into it. Videos. And guys, remember, share as well. As I'm over here struggling and trying to figure out how to do it, remember to share as well. This is going to be a really good conversation. So make sure that you don't save it for yourself and share it with your people in your community. All righty. So autocorrect is like not loving me right now. Okay. To go. Technology is a thing.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness, TC Carson. We are in the middle of a pandemic, protests. There's a lot going on. Election season. How are you doing? Before we get into the nitty gritty.
You know, I'm making it okay. Really, I have some things in place. I meditate. I talk to my therapist. You know, I exercise, and all those things help me cope with everything that's going on right now.
It's so important that you shared the holistic and healthy ways that you're, staying positive and remaining active during all of this. We talk a lot about that in the Afro, just the Black mental health piece, and you immediately went straight there, saying you meditate, you work out, you talk to your therapist. Can you just unpack a little bit about why you find that those are the important things to do to remain healthy and positive right now?
Well, a few years back, I had a lot of things happen at one time. I lost my mom, and other things just kind of caved in. And, you know, they say you go to church and you talk to God, and you do. But then God tells you that you need to go and see somebody. You know, and a friend of mine was just starting to practice meditation, and he got me really involved. And he said, it's going to help you. And it did. And when I moved here to Atlanta, I found a therapist, an African-American sister, and she has really helped me deal with a lot of what's going on. So I think that, you go to church, you pray, but then you talk to somebody who can give you some practical things to do to help you move forward. You know, and that's what I did, and it's really helped me. I encourage other Black people, especially Black men, to go to talk to somebody.
Thank you so much for that transparency in saying that, because, again, it's just so important, and it's a thing that we don't talk about much in the Black community. We're just now sort of getting that permission as we see our celebrities, right, openly talk about it. But it's really refreshing to hear not only that you to hear you talk about it, but also that you're speaking to someone of color, and that representation is so important too, and having more Black practitioners.
Absolutely. I mean, they understand what you've gone through. They understand the things that you deal with on a daily basis because they deal with it as well.
Right. Well, obviously, you take care of self, and it's really good to see, because the art that's coming from it is really rewarding and great. You've been busy, and I've been stalking your Instagram and seeing how incredibly busy you are. And so tell us what you've been up to, and then I do want to get a little bit into Come Together.
Okay. Well, there's a few things going on right now. There are 2 films that are in rotation. One is Coins for Love, and that's a TV One movie, really television movie, good movie, starring Essence Atkins. I can never say her name right. And there's another film called Bricked that is on BET Her right now, and it deals with a young man who's dealing with his bipolar disorder. Again, mental health in our community. There's a show on YouTube called The Gaze, Gaze, which was done completely through Zoom and iPhones and GoPro cameras. And it really came out well. The premise is a theater festival that was supposed to happen is not happening because of COVID. And they want to do a presentation online. And it's the rehearsal process for the presentation. And it's really, being a theater person, I think you'll like it.
That sounds amazing. You saw my cheeks just like go from one side of my head to the other. That sounds amazing. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
We're working on a cooking show called TC's Recipes, which is going to be more than just cooking for young people to show them how to live. I'm realizing when I talk to young people, a lot of them don't know how to do much. They don't know how to keep a house. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to do laundry. So this show is going to be a show that's going to help them get those life skills, but also introduce them to professionals in businesses that they may or may not have thought about going into. So it's about a conversation between young Black men and older Black men while we cook some food and learn some life skills. So we're working on that. The first incarnation is coming out soon. We don't have the people, but you'll see me cooking.
That's awesome.
And we're going into the studio. Finally, I've been telling people I've been going into the studio, and I've been going in, and what I've been getting out, I haven't liked. So that's why you haven't heard it yet. But this producer, I think, is going to give me what I want, and so I'm really excited about working with him. And we're just starting that process.
I really want my follow-up question to be, when do you sleep? Just because I am amazed by all that you're doing, but that is a whole lot. One thing I want to focus on is the mentorship and the educational aspect you're doing with the programming and teaching these young Black people life skills. And you talked about the fact that you're showing them opportunities that they may not know it exists otherwise. You have been in the entertainment industry for years and started as a very young man. And still young and thriving and killing the game, might I add. But started as a—
That was good. That was good. That was a good save.
I had to. You know, I was ready. Always ready. But you know, I have to know, first of all, when did you know that this was the career for you? And will that be something that you're exposing these young people to? Are you exposing them to the arts through this as well?
I would hope so. I mean, I would hope it really is about them finding out more about who they are and how to better take care of themselves. And the conversations that we'll have with these different professionals may or may not be centered around what they do for a living. We may talk about social justice. We may talk about sex. Whatever we're going to have a conversation about, that's what we're going to do while we cook this food. So whatever the young person needs to, I'm going to let them lead the conversation. So what they want to know, then we'll tell them. You know, and I think that's the piece that we're missing: the elders and the young people. We don't talk to each other like we used to, because the respect for the elders isn't there like it used to be. So we have to start instilling that in our children again. Like, older people, they've been through things. They have knowledge for you. All you have to do is ask them and they'll tell you.
I think it's so important that you said that, and to be able to know that there's someone older, not only to look to for the answers based off of their experience, but that someone older than them and wiser than them is willing to speak to them.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of the rub that stops this intergenerational conversation is that people think that they won't even, you know, that an older person or a younger person aren't listening to one another. And so the fact that you're allowing this conversation to happen is so great. And as a theater geek, I just got to say, you know, you learn in theater history and in theater making, that so many of these sort of integral conversations, particularly in the Black community, but you see it, even in Shakespeare, happen in the kitchen, right? Happen in the kitchen. And so, that connection, I just think is super cool. And great.
The kitchen is the gathering spot. When you have any gathering at your home, where do people end up?
Right.
Everybody ends up in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So it is the natural place for people to congregate and talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, speaking of come together.
That's a segue. Yeah.
I tried. Speaking of come together, I know you have this amazing song. I actually was going to do one of two things: either put on my "God is Dope" shirt because of yours in the video, so we're going to talk about that, and/or my Marvin Gaye, because it's giving me like a very Marvin Gaye-esque like vibe. I really, really love it. It's so dangerous to say Marvin Gaye in the music community, right? Because his family has like been there, being like, "What did you? What?" It does not sound at all like Marvin Gaye, though. So let me say that. But the vibe to me is almost like an answer, a 2020 answer to what's going on. It's a very modern answer to like, this is what we need to do, which is come together. And it spreads love and it spreads joy. And I absolutely, absolutely love this song and video. So first of all, congratulations on it. But tell us the inspiration behind it.
Well, that's from my first album that was released back in 2001, 2, I believe. And all of those songs on that album, the album is called Truth. And all of them were written by myself and Andre Simone. Andre Simone used to play bass with Prince. And we wrote for a year and just dealing with things that were going on at the time. And I think I was watching something and it was just the unrest was so real and people were just not listening to each other. And that's where Come Together came from. Jump cut to today when everything is happening with Black Lives Matter and the police brutality, all this stuff is going on. Now, as an artist, I wanted to be able to say something, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't, it was all just running around on me, and my music was on a scroll, and it was just playing in the background. And when the song came on, it hit me. It's like, that's what we need to do. We really need to come together. And I talked to my buddy Jerron in Chicago, who was an editor filmmaker. He shot the footage and put that together, and it really spoke to what I wanted to try to say, because it really is about all people. Black, white, straight, gay, young, old. It's not, people are people. Color is just something that's on the outside. So in order to make this thing work, we do have to come together. We all have to make the powers that be do what they're supposed to do. Not just one sector of people, but everybody has to go and make them do that. And I'm hoping that as an artist, you hope that what you do moves the needle just a little bit, And I'm hoping that this song moved the needle just a little bit and gave some people some things to have some hope about. Yeah.
No, it absolutely is, I think, a song that offers hope, inspiration. And it's amazing that, it's almost 20 years old, right? And for it to be so relevant, right? Right. For it to hit the way it does and for it to land the way it does today, I think is a testament to the artist that you truly are, but also that we do have to indeed listen to the message in the song, and that it can help us move further. The video is beautiful. I cannot believe that you were able to, first of all, make this happen in such short time, obviously, and just the colors, the people in it, the signage, the messages, all amazing. The fashion. Tell us how you collaborated with your buddy in making this possible, making the video come
to life. Excuse me. I met Jerron doing a project with Free Street Theater out of Chicago. It was a theater group that I worked with a long time ago, and they were doing a documentary. And that's when I first met him. And we were just talking about things that we wanted to do. And I mentioned this song. He said, well, send it to me. Maybe I can, make something happen. When he heard the song, he loved it. He got his camera out, filmed his friends. and had them come and sent me the footage, and it was exactly what I wanted. I had my buddy Sean here. We went out to the belt line and filmed our part. He went back, he put it together, and this is what we got. And it really was exactly what I wanted to see in my mind.
Yeah, yeah. I think, first of all, it makes you realize how sort of connected we are, even though we're far apart, right? And the things that we want. It reminds me of that, but it does also make me kind of miss and want us to work hard to quarantine, right? So that we can physically come together and be with one another personally again. But it's such a great song. Um, but before we open this up for questions, and I should tell people, go ahead and feel free to ask questions in the comments. I'll try to get to them. But let me ask.
Wait. There's questions.
Right.
Okay.
Look, how dare you all question.
Okay, let me sit back and
Right. No. Well, hopefully the people got some good things to say. They won't grill you too hot. Look, you're ready.
It is what it is, darling.
I love it. But I have to selfishly ask, I think it's so amazing that you've been able to be in such an industry like this for so many years. I know firsthand from going to auditions and getting tons of no's, right? That it can be quite discouraging. And it's so great to see you do so many things within the field and obviously and have that gift. But it's also great to see you create yourself. How do you continue to find inspiration, and how do you continue to go out there and do those auditions? What keeps you going?
I believe that being an artist was why I was put here. So I want to make money at it, but being famous celebrity stuff, it's okay, but that's not why I do what I do. I do what I do because I love the art of it, and I love the fact that I can touch people with my art. And I've been successful at doing that, and I feel very grateful to have been able to do that for people, and people have reciprocated that to me. So I think that's the main thing I think about. It's not really about all that other stuff. It's about the project. Can you, as actors, we get a chance to pretend to be somebody else. Why would you try to be yourself? Get a chance to be somebody else and figure out what that life is, what moves that person, and what moves that person maybe can move the audience. And that's the gig to me.
Yeah. It's amazing that as actors, I'm gonna say we just just cause, right?
Okay.
My Afro crew knows my theater background. But as actors, we are given that permission to step in someone else's shoes, to fight for someone else's objectives, to really be passionate about what these other people experience. But so many hard things come from that. We go back to the Black mental health piece that we talk about, and we've seen artists really crumble under the art itself, because they're stepping into those shoes. Can you tell us how you've been able to sort of avoid that and stay afloat as you sort of dive into some of these harder moments, and then also experience it in real life as a Black man?
Well, I don't think there's any avoiding it.
Mm. Mm.
And you can mitigate it. You can not control it, but you can get through it. But there's no avoiding it. It's going to happen at some point. I remember after my mom passed, I was doing God of War, playing Kratos. Kratos is the main character. He's a badass, all of that. But they had this one scene they were going to put in the game that he was being tortured. And they said, we need you to, holler and scream and, like he's being tortured. And this was like maybe 2 months, 2, 3 months after my mom had passed. And, I watched it a couple of times and I went, okay, let's go. And I started doing it. And 2 seconds in, something said, are you really going to do this? Or are you going to do this? I said, okay, let's do it. So stop the tape. Let's go back. Let's do it again. And by the time I got through, I was broke down in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came out of the booth, after I got myself together, I came out of the booth and they were looking at me like, you okay? I said, no, I'm all right. Let's, just work through some shit. So as actors, we get a chance to work through that. We can use it
Mm-hmm.
to take us where we need to go for this character.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way I've been able to get through a lot of things. I find ways to put it in what I'm doing. And I'm looking for how can we connect.
Look, the questions are coming up. You already see it. Okay. Well, I guess that we'll go into that. But thank you for that answer and that transparency. But okay, the people are talking. The people are asking questions. Let's see. Let me first just say, people are saying yes. Daphne Lee, who's an amazing dancer and artist. Just saying, a lot of people are watching with us. I now can't find the comment about the local playwright, but any suggestions for a local playwright who is attempting to dive deeper into the industry?
My agency's offered. Their name is BYSB Talent, and you can always email them with any kind of submissions. And other information is on my Instagram. My agency, I think my publicist information is there. So you can contact me through them.
Perfect. Guys, excuse my dogs if you hear them in the background. Somebody says life skills are so vital. The David Brand says great conversation. Guys, go ahead and feel free to.
That's my publicist. Thank you, David.
Say that. And then I was like, let me just make sure. Okay, so look, and you see, the publicist is there and ready to go, and supportive. I have a question that I hope you feel comfortable in asking. But since we're on that Black mental health piece, we do a show at the Afro called The Chicken Box, which is a very controversial sort of show, if you will, and fun. And, it's a fun conversation. We talk about things that people don't really feel comfortable talking about. And last week we talked, it was called Black People versus Mental Health. And we got into the sort of mental health and physical piece that played, without at all passing any sort of diagnosis or judgment on Chadwick Boseman, and knowing that he was dealing with this very, obviously debilitating and difficult disease for 4 years, and we did not know. We had no idea. And when we saw him very thin, people ridiculed him, called him out, said, "Oh, what crackhead is he playing?" All of that. As a blackter, as I like to say, but as a Black actor, people gave him, they were pressuring, after his passing, there's been so much pressure. He should have told us. I just have to know your opinion. Where are you on that?
He did what he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
He did what he was put here to do.
Mm.
His journey is not your business. People think that just because you got this box that everything you do as a performer, they're privy to.
Mm.
No, you're not. You're privy to what he chooses to do for his work. That's what you pay for, and that's what you get. His private life is his. Why should he have to tell you that he's sick? So you can pity him, so you can talk about him? No.
Right.
It makes no sense. No, people are too mean-spirited to really for you to give them your personal.
Yeah.
People are too mean-spirited. It's not necessary. It's like, that's not what you pay for.
No.
And we as actors, we as performers, we give 110, 150% every time we get on that stage. If that's not enough, then I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's so crazy to me how people think, the privilege that we as fans or audiences feel, almost as if we're owed something, an explanation of everybody's life, forgetting that these are humans, forgetting that these are people with their own life experiences, their own challenges, with their own achievements that they have the right and should keep personally.
Well,
Um,
it's a job. It's a job.
yeah,
This is what you do for a living. It's a job, you know.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I gotta ask, any performer who you are dying to work with or collaborate with that you have not done so yet?
I would love to work with Lettucey.
Ooh,
I would love to work with Raheem Devon. Um, acting wise, of course, Denzel. You know, of course,
right, right.
Lawrence Fishburne. I really like Lawrence Fishburne. I think he is a true thespian.
Mm,
I really, really do. And I think it'd be great. I'd learn a lot working with him. And I think that's the biggest thing about being an artist. You have to continue to learn. You have to continue to grow in your craft so you can continue to be, to say the things in society that you need to say.
mhm. Oh,
Hey, Rob.
Roz.
Hey,
Hey, Roz. Of course.
oh, that's my sweetie. That's my sweetie. Hey, baby.
Yeah, I know. I told her to make sure she was tuning in, so I'm so happy she's here. Yay! Okay. Yes. So, you have I don't want to say taking it upon yourself, but you are an artist activist. Um, and I think that is so awesome. But is it the role of an artist? Should an artist have a platform and use their platform to speak out on social justice?
Um, I am cautious about saying what anyone should do
Hmm.
because I don't know your journey. I don't know your story. I feel if you have a platform, then it'd be great if you could use your platform to help your community. But if that's not why you're here, then that's not why you're here. You know, I don't think anyone has to do anything. You know, but are you doing what you were called to do? Are you doing the thing you were put here to do? Maybe you're not an activist. Maybe you're somebody else. But I feel that I have a platform, and I've always used my platform in support of my community and my people.
And in terms of upcoming things, I know you gave us all that we can look out for soon, but is there anything else that you got cooking that you can kind of give us a hint of, or what's going on?
I think I told you everything.
You did say a lot. And then I did have the audacity to ask you, when do you sleep?
When I can.
Look, I know artists. I know you got something cooking, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll see. I've said that I have done some Instagram stalking of TC Carson, and that's what I know. That's how I know all that he's up to. So the people can do the same.
Hit me up. Hit me up.
Yes. Anything else you'd like to share, either about what's going on in your life or any advice for the people before we wrap?
I just want everybody to understand that this year is tantamount that you get out and vote. Get your friends, get your family, make them go. If you don't want to go, get your absentee ballot and mail it in. If you're scared about mailing it in, walk it down to the voting precinct and put it in the box. But please vote. Please. Even if you don't believe it works, you got a 50-50 chance. Take the chance. You don't have to go outside. You can mail it in. Come on. So do what we need to do so we can get out of this cycle that we're in. Because this cycle can and will get worse if we stay here. And that's it.
You know what? That was amazing. Obviously, we are on the same wave today because we just spent the last hour of the Afro and a whole episode of the Chicken Box called Black People versus the Young Vote. And we talked about the importance of getting out and voting. The next few series, in fact, are on voting. Next week, we have Melanie Campbell of the National Black Coalition for Black Civic Participation and Black Women's Roundtable coming and talking about Black women in the vote. So thank you so much, TC, for breaking that down and talking about how important voting is. We know that the vote is really important and can make a difference. And for those of y'all who don't think it is, just do it anyway. Just do it anyway.
And for the people who don't think it's important, if it wasn't important, why would they keep doing all these things to stop us from doing it?
Exactly.
Why did 45 try to kneecap the post office so mail-in voting wouldn't work? Why is he telling people to vote twice? It's like, come on, y'all.
Yeah. No, and all the ratifications made, and I mean, it's insane. And they know particularly that the Black vote is most integral, and that is why they're trying to stop it, and why they've been doing it. Oh, I don't know, for centuries.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about what's going on right now, the things that people have been able to say, "Oh no, that's not happening," you can't deny it now because it's in your face. You see the video, and it's not a movie. This is life. So now what are you going to do? That's the thing I'm looking at now. It's like all you people who were for him and for what he's doing, and you see where this country is now. You're complicit. You're complicit in what's going on right now. And if you vote for him again, you're going to be complicit in whatever happens to us. And it doesn't look good. I'm sorry.
No.
It just doesn't look good. Like Michelle said, he's just not up to the task.
Yeah. She wrote that down. She wrote that down.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Indeed. Well, I know what this has been is a great conversation. I've absolutely loved it. I am so fired up and so inspired. You have to come back and our managing editor says thanks, TC. Yes, really thank you. It has been a great conversation. I am so inspired. The theater geek in me, I think, is good for the rest of the day. I've gotten that out of my system, right?
It's been a really great conversation.
Thank you so much. And please come back and see us.
Absolutely.
Take care, everybody. Tune in 30 minutes for, as they say, the DC's Forever